Hey, what's going on, you guys? It is Sunday night, and it is time for some anabolic climbing fun times. Don't know where in the world you guys are. It's here in now dark but sunny California, and got some Hummus Vacuum playing in the background. Definitely check them out. And I had this crazy thought while I was in the shower that rock climbing supplements are largely garbage. I made a video about this a couple months ago where we were having the discussion over collagen synthesis or not. So I was like, look, no one in the rock climbing community that is on YouTube that I could find right now has spent more time researching collagen synthesis on tendons than me. Nobody has bothered to take a look at that in terms of anabolics, in terms of peptides, in terms of what that looks like for training. So I was like, all right, let's go through the research on supplementation. I called it out, said it was nonsense. And by the way, I've got right here a really dope article from Hooper's Beta. Spoke to them a bunch. If you haven't checked out their channel, you absolutely should. But they reviewed a whole bunch of different studies to see whether or not collagen supplementation has any impact on, collagen synthesis in rock climbers or athletes. And in general, my thoughts are no, and I'll tell you why. But I'll tell you what does work. So before we get into that, sort of at the high level, what you're going to find is, I believe it's essentially your body metabolizes lysine, and that's one of the main drivers for building the connective tissue. And the thing is, lysine is available everywhere, man. If you're having protein of any sort, the likelihood of you getting enough lysine to drive collagen synthesis is super, super high. So the real driver that you're going to find, and it really mentions it right here, is vitamin C, zinc, and copper. So vitamin C with zinc for probably like 10 or 15 bucks for 60 servings. Great driver of collagen synthesis right there. You can megadose vitamin C, which will actually also limit, I think it downregulates hypertrophy in some instances, depending on how high you dose it. But yeah, for basically, actually wait, we don't even have to have this discussion. Vitamin C with zinc. All right. So for 17 bucks, you can have one of the best collagen synthesis driving supplements shipped to your door for, way less. So now this is going to be our gold standard, right? These two right here. 15 bucks. We are now going to compare some of the largest rock climbing collagen brands and see how that stacks up against our gold standard. Ooh boy, this is gonna get gross. So let's hop into it. Fizz Advantage, 20% off our order. Let's take a look at all of these six supplements and see if they're useful, if they're overpriced, if they are underdosed, what's going on. Let's start with their collagen products. 45 bucks. Sick. How many servings? 35 servings. Okay. What do we have in here? $11 grams of collagen, 50 milligrams of vitamin C. Big yikes. Little bit of dietary fiber based, and there's no zinc and there's no copper. All right, so off the bat, we are getting something 4 times as expensive for, hold on, yeah, roughly 4 times as expensive for demonstratively less vitamin C. Let's double check our vitamin C count right there. Messing up the windows here. Let's go. All right, cool. 45 milligrams per serving versus 50 milligrams per serving. Okay. Oh, psych, JK. 45 milligrams of zinc per serving. So yeah, if your main driver is vitamin C, you are getting 20x the vitamin C and a reasonable amount of zinc, 400x what you would expect. And boom. One more time. Standard supplements are absolutely smashing what we would expect from our collagen stuff. So look, if you love the flavor of chocolate, peach mango, lemon honey tea, or pomegranate berry, and you want that as a flavored beverage, dope. But, you know, it's not going to make you any more powerful. There is just certainly not enough to drive that. By the way, who are these guys as athletes? I'm going to be, unfortunately, talking shit about them. And that's just deeply disappointing. Alright, cool. Let's see their creatine. Is it garbage? $30 for creatine monohydrate. Jesus Christ. Alright. Hold up. How many servings? $50 servings. Man, I'm gonna have to do math here. This sucks. Alright, let's go capsules. So 30 servings versus 50. Alright, so let's do 42, $27 on the gelatin. Oh wait, Jesus. Oh wow, I'm kidding. Okay, so right here you would have, oh my god. Is this really what I think it is? Okay. What's your serving size here? Okay, so serving size is 30 for 18. Here your serving size is 60 for 27. And that's capsule. Let's compare it to powder really quick. Okay. So for 50 servings, you're looking at 18 bucks or 19 bucks. Okay. So 19 versus 29. Honestly, not terrible. You're definitely getting ripped off on the pure creatine, but whatever. Honestly, not the worst highway robbery. We take that. What about their electrolyte powder? Jesus. BCAAs, aka the hot garbage of the fitness industry. Holy smokes. And for this, we're going to compare this to Liquid IV. No, I don't want Liquid IV creatine. Jesus. It's so bad. No thanks. 21 servings versus how many servings here? Oh God. We're surfing the Nar.
My whole life where I'm getting into flow.
He's flowing so hard.
It's a place where I can challenge myself.
By the way, this dude's doing some like objectively dope stuff.
My failures.
Like parkour, surfing, like legitimately admirable. But like, let's not kid ourselves that this is what's driving it. BCAAs are basically garbage. Electrolytes are awesome. Like, we need electrolytes. But I honestly can't even see what's in them right now. 40 servings. Okay. Sick. 40 servings for $39.95. I could get liquid IV. 21 sticks on the go. Great. Strawberry, watermelon. All right. If you're going to compare it to liquid IV, at least you're getting some level of like value on the electrolytes. Cool. So you can get salt, potassium, and magnesium, giga-based. Go to Costco. Like $156 a serving versus, yeah, it's cheaper. Cool. Good for liquid IV. You can definitely get it cheaper, but yeah, that's fun. All right, not overpriced garbage. Good for them. They did it. Their epic pre-workout, no caffeine, don't want it. What do they have in here? Mitochondrial support? Oh, really? All right, Noah, what do you got? Beetroot, citrulline, okay, sure. Jesus. Give me something with a stem, especially if I'm going to be going for power. Yeah, definitely not interesting. I'd want something with some alpha GPC. I'd want something with some carnitine. Yeah, there's a lot of other things that you could be using outside of just citrulline. And beta-alanine, if you guys don't know, just makes you itch something fierce. And I cannot, unless you want an itchy butthole and like itchy fingers going into your climbing, do not take beta-alanine. Like, gross. Also, if you want good nitric oxide production, take some Cialis. It'll be way better, and it's a non-stim. So, Sender X, Jesus. All right, let's see their pro athletes promoting this. I'm gonna get sad. Alex Magos is promoting this. Fucking yikes. Matt Fultz, dope climber, garbage supplements. Jonathan Segrist, big fan, not of these supplements. I don't know Anastasia Sanders. I don't know Drew Rana. I love Jimmy Webb and Daniel Woods. Like, objectively, guys, these are amazing athletes. These supplements are garbage. Jesus Christ. Yeah, big yikes. I hate that I'm going to have to talk shit on these guys getting their bag, because these are... I would be shocked if, like, these guys take these supplements with any regularity. Katie Lambert's a legend. Like, by the way, these guys are supporting awesome athletes, but, like, I could not imagine... Okay. So just a quick recap. We have V16, V17, and, like, legendary climbers here. And they are using an electrolyte booster one of the most, like, a pretty darn sus pre-workout that you couldn't catch me taking, and a 4x expensive collagen supplement that has basically no vitamin C. Trash. Alright, Flow. Super disappointing. Fizz Advantage, consider this the gauntlet down. It be like that. Let's see who's next. Gnarly Nutrition. These guys have some pro collagen. How much per serving? We have, for $50, for 20 servings. Jesus Christ. All right, what's in this thing? Okay, better. Now we have 15 milligrams of zinc and presumably like 100 milligrams of vitamin C. Okay. Already less garbage than the other one. Still not good, but like less garbage. Leah Wilcox being awesome on her bike. We love that. Yeah. Definitely not, or better, but not good. Again, putting BCAAs in really anything is useless. The reason being, you want a complete protein. You want like essential amino acids, not just the branch chains. And also, you know, if you guys like want a protein supplement and you enjoy it, that's great. Get something with essential, not branch chain. But yeah, you're better off just like having a protein shake. They're gnarly collagen, not trash, but not good. All right, let's review their pre-workout. All right, this one has caffeine based. Beta alanine, gross. 150 or 180 milligrams of caffeine is fine. I prefer 200, but like that's cool. BCAAs are trash. Citrulline malate. Let's compare that versus like how much Trulline is in Gorilla Mode. Alright, so you're getting about half as much of the L-citrulline as you would get from Gorilla Mode. Gross. Alright, cool. So comparing this versus the last one, BCAAs are trash. Beta alanine, can't stand it. But like the citrulline malate and the caffeine are like not awfully dosed. You could double up on it and that would be a thing you could do, I guess. Even though it's a lot of beta alanine. And yeah, Jesus. 30 servings for $50. Yikes. Not a total waste, but that's fine if you like the flavor, I guess. I would love to see some electrolytes in here. Like, why not just throw some like some sodium, some potassium, and some magnesium in here? That's super depressing. Yeah, not impressed. Their performance. They have hydration. Okay, sure. Get their electrolytes if that's a thing that you're interested in. Holy crap, that's like expensive whey protein. You have got to be kidding me. $3 a serving. Holy smokes. That's pretty brutal, man. Like, I guess it's the grass-fed whey, but like, no, even their like vegan stuff is crazy expensive. That's gotta taste like a candy bar. Good lord, that's bananas. Oof. Alright, I'm gonna have to give... Like, Gnarly is trying to break my heart on price here. I could not, in good conscience, justify buying this at all. Okay. Do they have any athletes that I need to talk shit to? No, that's good. Alright, let's try Bubs Natural. Okay. Lots of happy customers. Girls in athletic wear pushing sleds. Okay. Let's shop their collagen. $20-ounce tub. They claim, okay, so 28 servings for $35. Already like less bad on price. What's in it? No one cares about your story. Okay, nutrition facts. Okay. So we're just not doing vitamin C. Cool. 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 I appreciate that there is a bunch of gelatin in here. That's cool. But like, you're really looking for vitamin C and your zinc and your copper to drive this. So, oof. Oof. Pretty bad. Pretty bad. And now for vital proteins, you see these guys everywhere. Hey, they got vitamin C in there and stuff. We love that. 90 milligrams. Not terrible. No copper, no zinc, but whatever. Oh, even a little bit of hyaluronic acid. Oh, man. And oh, never mind. Only 13 servings per container. Gross. Gross. It's bad. It's bad. All right. Super disappointing. So, to no one's surprise, all of these collagen products are nonsense. So, I'm going to end up going in through a video one by one, and I'm probably going to be talking a gang of shit on the Flow athletes. And yeah, it's kind of like this. The reason I'm going to end up going after a lot of these guys is not because I don't want them to make money or get a check. Like, I do. Sponsored athletes need to make as much money as they can. And, you know, they would not be the first or only guys to be promoting supplements that aren't super efficacious. But, like, I have probably spent thousands, maybe even tens of thousands of dollars over the last 20 years on various supplements that were dog shit, you know? I have used, like, all the old Muscle Tech stuff, if you guys are old enough from, like, GNC to remember that stuff. Like, the dormant muscle fiber or whatever, like Aplodin, that was crap. Collagen supplements, those are crap. You know, like, oral carnitine that was underdosed. I have spent money on designer creatine that was crap. I tried both terkesterone and ectosterone. And I hate this. I see so many guys, friends of mine that like don't research this shit because they're not nerds and whatnot. They're just like, man, I got this protein supplement and I'm gonna get jacked. And it's like, dude, if you want to get jacked, take steroids. Like, eat all your protein, but like these supplements are not gonna get you steroid-like results. Like, unless you are taking things to drive these vectors to super physiological levels, it will not make a difference. And, you know, a lot of the reasons I'm going to, like, dunk on some of this stuff is because it's overpriced garbage. Like, if you want to drive collagen synthesis, take vitamin C, zinc, and copper. You can pin GHK copper. You can take growth hormone. You can take some Anavar. Like, these are things you could do to drive collagen synthesis. You could take nandrolone. It would be poorly, like, deposited collagen, but you could do that. But, like, and by the way, this is what's going to drive me freaking insane. you could source growth hormone that would be efficacious for fucking at a similar price per serving if your dose is as low as fucking collagen. Like, Jesus. Like, this is what gets me, right? You could be putting your money toward things that work, and you're just putting it toward crap. And that's unfortunate. Like, you could work with your doctor, take some fucking tests or some Anavar, and, like, you could get objectively amazing performance. And guys out here are just spending it on flipping collagen. It is a tragedy. So, disappointing, man. Disappointing. I'm going to make a video about this, going after them and really collagen supplements in general. I don't know. Should we switch over to another topic? Yeah, we could do that. Cool. That's fun. Alright, I definitely think it's about time to maybe switch over and do some checkups on pentosan polysulfate. What do you guys think? Who am I kidding? There's no one here. Alright. Show me the clinical data on pentosan sulfate. All right. Pentosan polysulfate is a polysaccharide derived from beechwood. It is an anticoagulant, anti-inflammatory, and possibly disease-modifying properties in vitro and for cartilage and synovial health. It is FDA approved for intestinal cystitis under the brand Elmeron. So, since you guys do not know what I am talking about for this guy, and you probably won't unless you hang out in the nichest corners of the biohacking community, pentosan polysulfate is a driver of collagen synthesis. It helps with synovial fluid and whatnot, and in limited exposures, folks have talked about having really good impacts off-label for things like arthritis and potentially for driving tendon health and connectivity. There have been folks that have used it in the bodybuilding and arm wrestling community in very niche manners. I am fascinated by this, but this is like a wild compound, and we're going to get into it. I actually have always wanted to read the literature on this. I'm going to make a video on this eventually. Like, no one's going to pay attention because, like, nobody knows to look for this, but, like, okay. In the knee, osteoarthritis, injectable open trials, pentosan polysulfate did affect coagulation tests, activating clotting time, but generally stayed within safe limits. Minor bleeding subcutaneous in the injection site pain were reported. Okay. Orals, folks have GI distress. Possible bloody stool. Gross. Yeah, this is not a gentle compound, just so you guys know. In osteoarthritis. While symptom improvements are seen, evidence of pentosan polysulfate reverses cartilage degradation, or stops joint space narrowing is limited. So right now there is no standardized dosing for pentosan polysulfate for injectables. You're going to have to go to some niche bodybuilding communities on that. I have seen it available in some international pharmacies, but I have not considered pinning that yet. So, safety and long-term high-dose use, especially concerning bleeding risks, effect on vision, we're going to talk about this, have been reported, and macuopathy associated with long-term use of Almiron through beyond the scope of the cartilage data. So, if you're wondering what that is, and ooh boy, is this crazy, it can create some like ocular degeneration that is like reversible if you discontinue the drug, I think. But like, and it usually sets in after year 2, so you could probably use it for 6 months to gain some improved collagen synthesis. But yeah, pentosan polysulfate shows promising clinical data for symptom relief, pain, stiffness, function in knee osteoarthritis in several small and medium trials. There's evidence, e.g. reduced collagen degradation markers and possible cartilage metabolism benefit, but structural disease-modifying effects remain to be proven more firmly. Safety appears acceptable in these trials, but risks, particularly for coagulation, bleeding, and maybe in long-term oral retinal effects, need consideration. Yeah, show me. By the way, guys, just so you know, pentosan polysulfate is FDA approved, as far as I know. And it's been used for, I want to say, like over a couple 100,000 people. So it's like, it's in circulation. It's a relatively known quantity. Symptom improvements for osteoarthritis. Okay. Oh, injectable pentosan polysulfate based. Randomized, double-blind, love that. Injections, 2 milligrams per kilogram, so that would be, in my case, like 120 to 130 milligrams twice weekly versus placebo. Measured pain, function, everything else. 112 of the 126 participants in the case reported statistical improvement and reductions in cartilage degradation biomarkers versus placebo. Interesting. Exploratory phase 2. Therapeutic. All right. So, 2009-2010, followed for 52 weeks. Okay, on intramuscular injections. Symptomatic improvement in pain, function, decrease in collagen degradation. Man, sleepy. Interesting. So they basically pinned, or it works orally, sub-Q, and intramuscular. Definitely don't hit a vein. That'd be bad. Okay, so largely sub-Q. So yeah, it's an anticoagulant, which would actually be to my benefit. I've got a history of blood clots in the family. Okay. So for intestinal cystitis or in some osteoarthritis trials, pentosan polysulfate has different efficacies between the subcutaneous and the intramuscular routes. Interesting. Sure. So a really good friend of mine actually has osteoarthritis. It's a huge bummer. I've been looking at stuff to see what could potentially help her out. This is one of the things that I've been exploring. Almost 500 people. Decent size. Ran it for 6 weeks. Okay, on the sub-Q, dosing at 1.5 milligrams per kilogram, 2 milligrams per kilogram. Yeah. All right, so they're comparing this to acetaminophen, so basically your Advil, and your anti-inflammatories. Okay. Really low BMIs. Cool. Okay. I have a couple different groups. Outcome. Okay. Self-administered questionnaire. Okay. So 0 is no pain, 10 is like, oh shit, I'm gonna die. So I'm seeing something at 3.1. Okay. All right. Been live for almost an hour. All right, so this is the same study. What were the differences in pain? All right, so they don't really spell it out. That's fine. Alright, running this for 5 weeks. Primarily outcome, change in knee pain, severity at 16 weeks, measuring 11-point scale. Ooh, total cholesterol dropped. I wonder if it was... Okay. Oh, so LDL dropped and... Oh, based. Okay. Love that. So this could actually stack with Anavar. Okay, so base pain is at 6.3 and or plus or minus 1.3. Oh, so folks were, and as far as pain goes, they went from being at a 6.3 out of 11 to 4.8 to 3.63 to 4.3 plus or minus 2.55. Crazy. Okay, so definitely meaningful improvements in pain. Okay. No serious safety signals in this pilot. So you have the ocular degeneration for the long-term use, but for 6 months, it just seems like pretty well tolerated. Shit. We might have ourselves a winner. So could you run pentosan polysulfate for 6 months? Yeah, the answer seems to be yes. Wild. Hold on a second. Any deaths? Oh shit. So yeah, if you keep this dose, or if you keep running this for like sub 6 months, you can pretty much easily avoid the ocular degeneration. That seems to really start creeping up at a year and definitely at 2. So when I've seen this sort of mapped out, pentosan polysulfate is super tolerable for about 6 months. At a year, I think there's about a 10% chance of ocular degeneration, and it goes up to like 50% if you run it at 2 years, which is super, super scary. To my understanding, it is undone once you come off the compound, which is super cool. But like, you wouldn't want to risk your eyesight, and I couldn't justify doing it for over 6 months. But it seems to be pretty tolerable and even like FDA approved for like sub 6 months. I wonder if we have any direct tendon data. I might actually end up sending this to my friend. Tendon lesions? Oh no. Okay, wait. It improves the extracellular matrix. Okay. And reduces the degenerative. Okay. So this right here, for the better parallel alignment, this is what you don't get on anabolics. This is actually pretty hyped. For rat tendons, increased deposition for type 1 collagen while reducing the abnormal type 3 associated with scar tissue. Sick. More organized lattice structures with less. All right. God damn it. This looks promising. I hate it. No published human studies with this. All right, cool. Ooh boy. Well, that's fine. All right, this is the next one. I'm going to talk this over with a friend of mine who's a doctor. We're going to get to the bottom of this. Definitely seems possible that this could be a vector worth exploring, especially the oral, man. We might be releasing the cat out of the bag on this one because this checks a lot of the boxes too. Honestly, if you were doing this for 6 months, this might potentially be better than growth hormone, and I'll tell you why. They both do the same thing in terms of improving the lattice structure of tendons. But yeah, I don't think there's bloat on this that you get from GH, at least not that I've heard of. I'll run some comparisons side by side between collagen synthesis from GH versus... Actually, wait. Let's do it here. We ball. All right. All right. Let's figure this out. So tired tonight. Probably because I went to the Dodgers game. And we lost. If you guys are new, do not forget to hit like and subscribe. It honestly goes a long way to supporting the channel. So type 1 collagen synthesis in humans is lacking, but it certainly is for, or isn't for humans and rats. You compare this in horses or rats, because that's where we have data, in humans or rats. While we load again, it's honestly been really nice to just not be lifting for the last couple days. My forearms have finally stopped swelling. Dude, my tendons were so jacked up. Like, I'm clicking a little bit less. I don't know if you can hear this. Nah, probably not. But yeah, just the clicking in my forearms is pretty brutal, man. Gradually trying to loosen everything up. I was belaying my niece the other day, and it was the first time just like campusing and whatnot that everything just didn't feel super stiff. Finally just loosening up after about 9 months of just going balls to the wall. Which is nice. Alright. Interesting. Did not recommend growth hormone for that phase. Okay, so this might be just a thing where this is actually kind of interesting. So maybe Pitocin really just impacts the joints and cartilage and not the tendons themselves. Okay. So it's anti-inflammatory and it's protective to the collagen. Okay, interesting. Okay, cool. God, I hate this. There's like... The real thing that I've been learning in this entire process, and if you watch nothing else of mine, this is really the key takeaway, is that collagen synthesis is fucking complicated and is not nearly as linear as muscular hypertrophy. You could have collagen that connects to bone, collagen that connects to tendon itself. Then you have the skin, then you have the joints and cartilage, and it's not all the same mechanisms, which is really obnoxious. So you could have something being an amazing driver of collagen synthesis, but still not potentially help for climbing. And like, I need to also research if like having better cartilage is inherently something that's useful to climbers, because like I'm sure there is a case to be made for that for like our shoulders, our knees, things of that nature. But like, yeah. All right, cool. Bummer. Got all excited there for a second. Honestly, though, if you're like dealing with injuries, it's still probably worth mentioning, because I would probably, like, based off of everything that I've seen, you're probably better off running pentosan polysulfate versus something like a nandrolone for the synovial fluid benefits, because it's not neurotoxic. Yo. Alright, guys, I'm going to call it there. I'm going to take the dogs for a walk. I'm out with anabolic climbing. This has been awesome. Thank you for the handful of people that scrolled by as we... Like, I am going to dunk on all of these flippin' supplement companies because it is gross. And I'm also going to do the dive on pentosan polysulfate. I need a little more data on this, but I feel comfortable enough being like, this isn't like a climbing tool. This is really just like an anti-inflammatory tool for folks that, yeah, just have some connective, or that have some cartilage problems. But it's definitely something worth using. Anyway, appreciate you guys. You're the best. This is Adam with Anabolic Climbing, wishing you happy sending and a wonderful weekend. Take care.